Is Overpass CT sided? Well, that is the only question I'm sitting left with, after watching the weirdest match of the year, G2 vs Sprout, and how a team ranked top 50 in the world shocked everyone after this insane match on Overpass against a top 5 ranked team. Today I will break down the match, look at the stats and more to answer the question. G2 and Sprout are meeting in this legendary match on Overpass, and here we can see they are both going for different IDs in the pistol round, with Sprout fully opting to have 4 players with armor and then 1 player buying a smoke and 2 flashes. And in a round like this, a solo smoke and some flashes are enough to take any of the 2 sites, with an ABC or Heaven smoke for B and a stairs or bank smoke for A, while G2 are going for 1 smoke and 1 flash, and then Hunter wielding the dual wields. The goal for G2 with the utility can be many, but the main is to either take map control or counter the smoke from Sprout. G2 are going for the classic 1-4, where Nico as the solo player will peek middle for information for his team, and when Nico peeks out, he can't see anything, and now he have secured the information that Sprout will either be going taking B or connector, while the rest of G2 are going 4 players B, and here all 4 players jump out of Heaven. And if you don't know, if you want to peek Monster with a good spawn, it's faster to jump out of Heaven than to run towards ABC and then Graffiti. But to see all 4 players going Monster, it indicates that G2 might leave short open, while Sprout are going 5 players towards B, and here in the pistol round it's usually good to play together. But if all were to run out of Monster, a smoke or a flash is enough to deal with it, and that's why we see one of the Sprout players going short, so that they can have the factor of a split execute, and see how Sprout are set up. Their goal now is to hide outside of Monster, and the short player will hide, to not give away what they are doing to the B players. Little do they know that Nico will know it's a B execute, and here as soon as a smoke towards B land, Sprout uses this flash and are going out, and right now G2 are 4 players on site, 2 players on site, 1 Heaven and 1 Monster, quite split up and hard to trade for the Monster and Heaven player. So both the side players need to come up clutch here. G2 smokes Monster and then flashes Monster, and this stops the push from Sprout, but only momentarily, so Nico can come and rotate to help G2. Hunter finds 2 kills from the smoke. It's a reason he went close to the smoke, since the duelists are amazing at close range, and this is the point where G2 need to trade. Only problem is that it's the side players who need to trade each other. The Heaven player is out of the equation, but Hunter and Modesty are quickly traded back, and this leaves Nexa solo on site, Huxi in Heaven and Nico on his way down.
And make their way out. Might want to call a cancel here because Hunter is on the other side of it with the dualies, and well, he shuts down 2 initially. Manexi trying to get something done towards short, but he actually will fall. Nexa trapped in towards the barrels will try and maneuver himself back into a little bit of safety.
But look at Nexa's position. He gets down to water since this will allow him to be able to be traded by the Heaven player, and if Nico or Huxi decides to go ABC, G2 on the 3v2 are positioning perfect. Only issue is that they are split up. So this might look amazing by G2, but Sprout can play on the weakness of G2 being too split up. And we can see Slime is able to abuse this by fighting from Monster the Heaven player. And now that Nexa is in water, this is a 1v1 that has been given up to Sprout. But Slime can't find his kill, but this forces G2 to be way more passive than they would have liked in the 3v2. And now the pieces starts to fall, where Huxi has left Heaven to give it the spot to Nico. But then he walks up bridge and here he's found, and it's now a 2v2 since Nexa in water has no chance of trading, and Nico has been scared away from peeking. And Sprout in the 2v2 is able to abuse how split up G2 are and wins the round.
Been dinked up. Huxi has suffered a similar fate. Nexa has to really do the brunt of the work here. USP in hand, Huxi does fall, and Nexa tries to maneuver around, might catch a timing, but the answer is no.
G2 decided to do a half buy and have bought down to around $0, and here their goal is to win, since by buying down this low will make sure you can't buy next round. If you lose, and you will give Sprout a lead of 3 rounds, and when the half is only 12 rounds, you give away 25% of the first half to Sprout. But that's why G2 have some guns, with a scout, MP9 and some upgraded pistols and nades, so G2 will give Sprout a run for the money, and it's a good buy to be fair. The Deagle and Scout combo is great. The Scout takes the body, and the Deagle becomes a one-shot kill, while the SMGs allows G2 to take more close-range fights. While Sprouts are a better buy, but since they did not get the plant last round, they can't all buy AKs and utility, and that's why they have a Galil and 2 Mach-10s. So none of the team have an amazing buy, but Sprouts buy are way better. G2 are going 2 players long, 1 in banana and last 2 on B. And here on long, G2 have sent the Scout and Deagle, where G2 will play long, so that the Scout can take the first contact and make Sprout focus him, so Nico then with 1 bullet can get the kills on long. And then they have 1 player in banana and middle just to make sure to hold Con and banana so Sprout can't just walk on A side and take it. While Sprout are going 4 players on A and then 1 on B. And here the B player will use some utility to make it look like Sprout are going fast on B, with a smoke and a flash before he falls back. The goal for this is to force G2 to either rotate one player or force a long player to peek middle for information, and when Sprout are shift walking middle, he might miss them in middle, and this sells the fake even more. But the B player links back with his teammate to take middle. And here Sprout starts to take middle and walks on the right side of the stairs. This is done so the toilet player can't see them walking down, and then Sprout will have one player holding long. And here Hooksy peeks out since he needs to get the information, and rather fast what Sprout are doing since G2 are wondering if they are mid or going B. And here he spots all 4 players and is able to even get one kill and trade himself. This is information G2 needed to understand what Sprout are doing.
That's the $1 million question right now, isn't it? Hooksy actually comes away with a kill there, 5-7.
While for Sprout this is worst case scenario. This forces m0NESY back to hold on site from the Sprout take that will come. When Sprout starts to throw utility execute like this, but Sprout's playground player wants to win back long. And why not? You get long, you will be able to kill m0NESY and make the round impossible for G2 to win. And here Nico finds his player with a nice one tap, and m0NESY right after finds 2 more kills, and Sprout are down to a 1v4.
Being very cautious, Nico with the deagle, and well, we expect to see that from him. m0NESY, great shot with that scout, as now Spooky needs to pick up the pace, and now G2 are feeling it a little bit.
So how did this happen? Well, Sprout were 2 split up. They split up with 1 player playground solo to take long with an AK. Just that is risky. And when m0NESY started to collect heads, we can see how split up they are. 1 player is holding connector, 1 player is solo swinging out of toilet, and 1 player is running up site. Why are they not going together? And then the divider player peeks out and m0NESY collects him, and when the player close tries to swing and trade m0NESY, he finds another kill, and just like that, G2 have gotten 4 kills, Sprout has gotten 1.
But you are on the CT side. Yeah. So at least you've that going for you. It's not like you're being thrown into the deep end starting on the T.
Well, now we see that the script has changed, and G2 are now on the better buy. So what can Sprout do with this? Well, Sprout have brought a Galil and some pistols in hope to duplicate the success G2 had with a lower buy, while G2 are still not on a good buy with an MP9 and a Galil this round. And this round is key for both teams. If G2 win, they can start to build a bank and make sure Sprout have to save next round. And G2 will be able to get the lead 3-1. While if Sprout wins, they will ruin G2's economy and be able to win the next round. So both teams are playing for the chance of taking the lead 3-1. G2 are 3 players on B and 2 on A, where the A players will use this Molotov thrown by Nico to block out any early mid aggression for Sprout, or so Sprout have to smoke it. But they only have 1 smoke going into this round, and this is not where they want to waste it. And m0NESY nades here to make sure no player pushes close. Then he watches connector before Nico flashes him mid to peek out. Well, Nico runs back, and m0NESY, after getting the information, runs back as well. While on B, there is much to talk about in the start. G2 starts by smoking Monster to hold off any T's, and then Nexa uses this Molotov here, while Sprout are going 1 player B, 1 connector, and then 1 just fast enough to cross the G2 Molotov, and then 2 players stuck in the middle behind the Molotov. For Sprout, it's all about getting something around the map before deciding where to go. And we can see what the Sprout players who got ahead does. He just walks out of long and now has won so much map control, but he can't use it fully before his 2 other teammates joins him, if they do. But he wants to clear it out. Sadly for him, Nico's already jump spotting behind armor truck, and here spots him, and this amazing position has been given up. And he's just alone here, no one to trade, not ideal. By now, G2 are 3 players on B, and their goal is just to find an opening kill and the man advantage. And it's why Hooksy rotates up, so he could set up Nico and m0NESY to take the fights. But 2 things has happened. The long player has left long to rather join with his teammate, and since Hunter did not see anything on short, he has moved back to site. And now Sprout can take short control from connector, and Hooksy runs back to B when he realizes that Sprout are rotating. And here on the jump spot, he spots 2 players, and this confirms what G2 was ready for. And on the run up, G2 are set up with 2 players in Monster and 1 in Water. And here Sprout is mowed down, and only finding Hunter.
To hit the many moment now, Hooksy should have the angle at least on the first, make that a double for him, looking for a third, not quite connecting on it, but Hunter's there to support, and that's going to be a fairly clean one for G2. By the looks of it, it's second for Hunter, probably a third on the MP9 as well. Rack up that cash, never mind. Slime says sit down, but Nexa.
So this round is super slow. So slow in fact you might be able to just make it down the page and subscribe before the next round starts. We are now in round 7. And so far G2 are feeling it with a lead of 4 rounds. So here we can use this to understand why they are so confident going into this setup, where they will have 2 players on A and 3 on B, where m0NESY with the best spawn will use this to be able to run down into connector to try to get the first kill, while Nico will hold middle to allow his teammate to escape early if needed, so a mid player or balloon player can't kill him. and Nico here uses this Molotov and flash to make sure Sprout can't push him. While the 3 B players of G2 are going for this default boost, and then the last player is going to barrels to hold monster and short if needed. And then they blow up the door to allow the player boosted to look into connector, while Sprout are going 2 players connector who have the first one jumping just to make him harder to be hit, as well as they are not lining up to not give m0NESY any chance of killing both, and make whoever peek out have to make a decision on who to kill. And this is probably why m0NESY missed, since he needed to make a fast decision as well as run away from con so he would not die, since Sprout are pushing and molotoving bottom con. And then Sprout has 1 player in middle with the bomb and last 2 towards B. And here Sprout finds an opening kill with this amazing pre-fire and shot from Slime to kill Hooksy. And just look at where Slime killed him from, connector. It's a way to deal with the boost, and just fast enough so the short player can cross the water without being seen. And here is why Slime was so fast to get far into connector, so would be able to meet this player boosting, a great anti-strat.
That's the level he has to be on if they want to go for that comeback. Now, this one's going to be a little bit off the mark. Okay.
G2 is forced to smoke off monster to make sure they can't be pushed fast, since they are missing a player, as well as the G2 players on A have fallen back and wants to play safer now that they don't have the advantage. But the door being blown away is important and crucial, and G2 do not want to give this away, and here boost like this, so Hunter can look right into the door, and this angle as well allows you to see the staircase better than the boost Hooksy went for. But to do this boost, G2 needed m0NESY to leave A so he could hold monster for his teammate. Sprout are now 4 players outside of monster smoke. All they want is to just explode out and get another kill. But are they ready for m0NESY? Well, right before the smoke pops, Sprout tries to time this with a flash, and here they misses the flash, allows m0NESY non-blinded to get the first kill, and again Sprout issue with trading prevails. And here m0NESY can collect 1 more kill, and this is since both players when walking out monster has something to hold. One will clear right, while the other will hold for the left side swing, and m0NESY just needed to kill the player who clears him. So he's allowed to get 1 more kill.
Up towards A if you're G2. m0NESY now on the other side of the monster pipe, and he's everywhere with this AWP right now.
And m0NESY is perfect. But Slime is able to trade back, and next understanding he just need to trade. Swings out after the flash pops and finds a 1-for-1 kill, and it's a 2v2. But Nico is still on A, so if Sprout goes now, they will be able to get Hunter into a 2v1 fight, and make sure the game is going to be a 1v1 or even a 2v1. But Hunter is just not being seen, and here can kill a Sprout player walking up short, with no clue where to even look, and here Hunter wins the round for G2, a crucial win.
The potential still here for Sprout to pick up a second round, but Hunter on an awful angle that C-Shot just cannot take down. Slime spots out the head and Nico now knows Hunter is close but not ready for this.
So right now Sprout are struggling with a 1-7 scoreline. So what are Sprout going to do with this? Well, they started by having 2 players go B, who uses quite a lot of utility to take water, where they will use these 2 Molotovs, 1 for short and 1 for barrels. This is to trick G2 into thinking it would be a rush. Well, G2 meets this with a monster smoke and then a Molotov towards the tunnel, where Sprout will smoke it off and then flash water to allow 1 player to take control of it, while the 2 players in con will have the AWP holding stairs, while the other player pushes up and close to con, and then have 1 player going playground as the main lurker. G2 on the other hand are playing 2 players long and 3 on B, and here the goal is to use the long position to find the first kill, and I love what G2 are doing on B with the boost. Here they are ready with the boost but not peeking, since so far this game and round Sprout has been able to deal with this as we saw with Hooksy. So why not delay the boost to make sure Sprout will not be ready? And here we can see Hunter just waiting for the perfect time to peek up, let go of his crouch button and get a kill. But what is the perfect timing? Well, the best timing is when they hear nades being pulled, since most players know where the smoke will be thrown from, and this will allow Hunter to know where to pre-fire, and taking a smoke or any type of utility away from Sprout in this round will be crucial. But Hunter is red. When Ralls, who is behind the smoke, has nothing else to watch, and Hunter peeks out and Ralls finds the opening kill just like that. And again, Sprout has the opening.
Peak. Or it's gonna be just a timing peak. It will be the peak on timing, and Ralls was ready for it.
So how do they play with it and use the advantage they were given? Well, after Hunter dies, m0NESY leaves long and Nico takes deep long control in this off angle, while Sprout uses this advantage to take middle from balloons and connector. G2 uses 1 more smoke in monster to make sure Sprout can't push it. But G2 are starting to run out of pushback utility like Molotov and smokes, so they need to just fight and find a 1v1 to be able to win this. Freeze, look at Sprout. They can group up and just go to a site. They have the advantage, 3 smokes and some flashes. So why in the world is Spook doing this? Solo peeking long. And here, He is spotted by Nico but stays alive. But this is crucial information. Nico is wondering why a T is solo peeking with zero utility or anything long. And this might tell G2 that Sprout do not have so much map control as G2 might have thought. And that is true. Sprout only really have middle, con and short. Not ideal if you want to take site on Overpass. And this smoke has forced Sprout to go middle. And here G2 have one player on site, but Nico can do so much from his long position. He can run to site or lurk behind toilet, or just to try to take the fight in toilet and find an opening there. But G2 misreads the situation. When the water player peeks site, and this sends m0NESY down to Molotov short off, while Sprout are using D's utility and are just taking side as 4, and Nico is alone to defend. Nico's goal in this round is to get 1 kill and stay alive, or 2 kills and die. So what do? Well, let's quickly talk about Sprout information. They knew about Nico on long, and instead of clearing it, they rather leave it up unguarded. And mistakes like this might look small and just seem like Sprout overlooked a crucial detail. But it's now the reason they lose the round, with Nico getting 1 kill, and then Sprout swings him 1 by 1, and Nico kills 4 players quickly.
It was all on towards long, and they've heard the steps for sure.
They know he was there, they can hear him getting a whole lot closer, but can they do anything about him? And the answer is no. Nico, a hat-trick from long, and now he can just tuck himself away, but he'll even find more. Nico.
It's not looking good for Sprout, and this round is important. It's the last round of the half, and they might be able to at least get 2 rounds on the T half. But their buy is not the greatest going into this round, with 3 Galils, a Mac 10 and 1 AK. While G2 just want to secure a 11th round and almost the perfect CT side, and are going into this round with 4 rifles and an AWP, so from the start G2 have the odds in their favor of winning. On B, we see a very familiar setup, with G2 smoking monster, molotoving short, while Sprout meets this with a short molotov and then a smoke on the molotov to maybe get short if needed. Then Sprout are sending 2 players into connector and then 2 towards middle, while G2 have 2 players in middle using this molotov and smoke to keep Sprout stuck towards mid ramp. Only problem is that the molotov fails, so Sprout can freely cross the playground without making noise. Being seen by mid due to the smoke and not having to use any utility to cross, m0NESY stays toilet to hold it. And then Nico plays top connector, and here the goal is just to get some information before he can fall off, as well as nading the connector door from ABC with this lineup. And this nade forces a con player to smoke the door since Sprout have no water control. This con door being broken is bad since the boost can spot them, or a player on sandbags. This smoke is crucial, and it's crucial to get it into the door deep enough, not block any players in con from going top con. But as soon as the door is smoked, a Sprout player take water. So was the smoke even needed? With all of this in connector, m0NESY and Nico has seen enough and falls back to site. The classic G2 play, they never overstays their welcome unless they need an opening kill, and so far G2 have not needed one. Since on executes, they always find a kill. And as a team, this is a good habit, so you never have a player overstaying and dying solo, and shows you the good team play and chemistry G2 have in general. G2 goes for this play, where they use this molotov to hit the corner short, and then the nade sandbags in case a player is short. He will have to run back, be hit by the molotov, or the molotov will force a player to fall off the corner and be hit by the nade. And nades in CS2 makes a sound when it hits a player, so this is crucial information for G2.
That could be crazy. I mean, I really hope for the sake of the series that Anubis is gonna be a little bit closer than this, because we've so far just seen.
And while G2 now knows about the water player, they resmoke monster, and then they have 2 players pushing into the smoke, just sitting inside and waiting for it to fade. And see on the x-ray here, the smoke is thrown deep enough so 1 player can hold the corner and 1 hold everything else, so they can be able to deal with all the spots in monster. And Slime did not expect that. Must have been a jump scare, since no one will ever expect some shit like this.
Best to win a couple rounds on CT side. You can never know. A double push towards monster though. Surprise, surprise, it's an unpleasant one for Slime.
In the meantime, the mid player of G2 have gone back to toilet, while Sprout's mid player uses this smoke in front of toilet to be able to walk down middle, but alone. But Spook on the lurk, who this game has not had a lot of impact, walks into toilet, and here Nico spots him and finds his kill. And it's a 3v5. I still think it's crazy how many times Spooky walks alone and loses the round for Sprout. But Sprout needs to take B site, and here they uses the map control they have, monster and short, and here they shoot to blind the monster player of G2 so Sprout can run them down. But G2 monster setup is great with Hunter playing anti-flash, so when Nexa makes contact, he only needs to swing and get 1 trade. And here Anlele is able to kill both players, and the game is down to a 3v3.
Easiest kill of Nico's life, and this should be 11 on the board in favor of G2. Next has already seen the players. Flash comes in, it's not too bad.
But on site, G2 has an unlikely hero, with Huxi solo on site is able to shoot 1 player low and kill 1 more player. and Huxi alone has saved a round for G2. And here he smokes water when thinking he's safe. And here Alele tries to push water and Huxi finds him as well, and an unlosable 5v3 for Sprout has been saved by Huxi, and it's now a 3v1. And Nico from Heaven deals with the last player, and G2 have almost played the perfect CT side. So an easy win for G2. Just don't look at the time left on this video, damn you looked. Yeah, this game is not over yet.
And Alele manages to double up and double down. Huxi still in towards Water, manages one. Spray transfer is a little bit off the mark, but still a lot of damage done to the remaining 2 members of the Sprout team, so Huxi should be good with at least 1 more kill. And Nico's there to assist him for the final one. G2 with a massive recovery after a disappointing Mirage.
This round will be a key to see who wins this match. If Sprout wins this might be the boost of rounds they need to build a bank and start the climb of winning minimum of 11 rounds. While if G2 win, they're most likely to be able to win the next round. And the match 13-1. Sprout are going for 1 upgraded pistol and a flash and a nade. And I like how the nade player is the one buying the nade and the pistol, so all the other players can get armor. While G2 are going for 1 upgraded pistol and then 2 smokes, 1 Molotov and 1 flash. This is a lot of utility for a pistol round, but when you just want to win the round, it makes sense to get a lot of utility to just use this to take sight, and not only go for a flash or a smoke. Sprout are going for the default 1-4 with 1 player peeking middle, just for quick info, and then have 4 players going B. And while G2 went all Heaven, Sprout are sending 2 players Heaven and 2 going towards ABC, since they will try to take water and just clear out all of B. While their mid player goes in this off angle to try to allow G2 to think mid is clear and then peek into him. Sadly it does not work. G2 are going 5 players towards middle, and this makes sense. Default setup on Overpass in pistol is to play 4 on B and 1 in middle, so going all mid can allow you a free kill. Or you can mess up the enemy's positioning, since they will now need to rotate up to A. But there is one problem, Sprout has gotten full B control, so Sprout can now rotate 2 players up on A, and this ruins G2's game plan, since their goal is to either get an early kill and then rotate over, but sadly, now they can't and need to move fast, before Sprout is the one boxing them in. G2 are going way too slow, so now they need to take something. And here goes Toilet and Banana and uses this utility to take A site. And I like this, but I still think this has been too slow. Like, look at Sprout's setup. 1 player long, 3 towards A and 1 pushed here on B monster. But G2 are playing this bad. Before any utility drops on site and blooms, Nico solo peeks and is found. And Sprout has the advantage. But here is the problem, look at G2. They have 5 players, 1 is solo peeking Toilet and dies, 1 holding for the flank that is not needed under the execute unless you have the advantage, and then 3 players going banana. These players are just not doing a great job in spacing, with the players just running 1 by 1 and is all found. I think G2 was just too slow, since look at the site. Why not wait for utility to drop or use some better flashes before peeking? Sprout wins a round, much needed.
Fantastically on map 1, but so far on Overpass, they haven't really been able to back a punch. Up until now, maybe.
Up until now, maybe. Analele stops the first. Rals is here as well, but eventually he will burn down. Spooky has been spotted. 2 players nearly line up for him, but Analele has woken up now. Took him a long time to get in on the action, and Slime letting out a little bit of frustration there.
Sprout managed to win the second round after the pistol, and that is a crucial, but now G2 have a full buy. And usually as the side at 1 pistol and the second round, you will call this round a bonus, since you don't need to buy anything. And if you win it, well, that's the bonus. And if you lose it, it doesn't matter, you can still buy the next round. But when you are down 3-11, can't really take a bonus here. But here Sprout has MP9 going into this round. Sprout are going 3 players towards middle, with 1 player after smoking monster runs long, while the 2 other players goes middle from banana and toilet, and then uses this smoke and 2 molotovs to stop G2 from any fast pushes. Then the 2 B players of Sprout goes 1 towards monster and 1 towards short. And here they will use this molotov for short, and then goes for this nade to blow up the door and connector. While G2 are going 3 players monster, and uses the monster smoke to be able to move unseen to the right of the monster tunnel, and then G2 smokes short and then molotovs to try to trick Sprout. While then G2 have 1 player going connector as the lurker, and then G2 have a player before going monster. He smokes like this to hit the molotov in playground if Sprout throws it, to fake that there is players there. But when Sprout are 3 players on A, they can quickly see that this is a fake to trick them, and that's when the connector player of G2 comes into play, since from middle, connector is the easiest way down to rotate. But when the door is blown up, the connector player molotovs it and smokes it, and then leaves it. And now it just looks like G2 have no other purpose in this round than to go B. So if you are going only to B, well, you need to take some more map control, so G2 starts to take short control. And here look at Sprout. They uses the MP9 perfect, with playing close to monster, looking like this, so his gun will not be seen. And then if a teammate flashes monster, it's perfect for him to swing and usually the monster push will not clear this. G2 gets water and it's game on. And here G2 uses this flash and then have a player pushing short first in hope that the monster player will focus short so that the monster push can come in as a second wave to kill the players. And G2 finds an opening kill, and now Sprout only have an MP9 on B versus 4 G2 players. Well, that MP9 peeks monster and finds the trade, and Hooksy with a hand over his head swings and dies. And just like that, the solo MP9 is the hero of the match, for now. And it's a 3v3, a round G2 should have had. And look at the A players, none of them are moving down towards Con, but all are going from A side to B, making Nico useless in this round. And I have to ask, did Nico freeze up? He's been chilling here for the whole round.
Get ready to go in and maybe grab a kill and some information for his side. Spooky towards Monster. It's a great first kill. That MP9 could be so dangerous for Manesi, but he deals with him, although it costs him a lot.
So on site, G2 are still going into the round 2v3. Sprout and G2 exchange some utility, but here G2 Molotov misses and allows Sprout to boost over here. And then the Molotov from Sprout will make sure G2 can't go to site to plant in the default spot. This boost setup is perfect. And Slime cleans up 2 players since they were not ready for this boost, and Sprout with an MP9 and a lucky boost wins the round.
A lot of his HP. Sprout now forced back because of that Molotov. They want to maybe go for the boost, but on Alele, it's going to cost him a little bit more of his health right now. But Slime finds one. The spray is good enough to collect the second as well, and this leaves Nico in a 1 versus 3. But you would not put it past him. No smoke for the bomb. The molly goes towards Monster. Nico does have that molly. Slime is going to go and try and clear him out.
This round should have been a loss, but G2 wins it, and I wanted to quickly show you how they won it, with only upgraded pistols, while Sprout are going 4 rifles and 1 up. G2 starts the round with 3 players con, 2 in middle. The con player uses this smoke after Sprout nades the door, and Sprout uses this nading con to hit the player and get some information if G2 are in bottom connector, while Sprout are going 2 players on A and 3 on B, so a default round. So Sprout are now doing the same Molotov and smoke middle, while the B players, after blowing up the door, they go for a spam in hope to kill a player, or just hit a player and get the information about it. So how did G2 win? Well, they have 3 flashes, 2 Molotovs and 2 smokes, so they need to do something else. And here they forces Sprout to rotate a player up before walking back to B. And here is where the action will happen, by using the Monster smoke to get to Monster without being seen. And here they uses these flashes, and then Nexa running out finds 2 kills, who are both flashed by the flashes, and I like that G2 wins the round. They never should have won.
If they're timed really well, this could still work out.
Oh, the flash catches Ral's right between the eyes. No. Nexa with a double, and that Monster setup completely undone, and yeah, it just takes 1 Ted, and this one might just be it.
GG's on match point, and they have been for quite some time, but this round will dictate how the game will end. G2 is broke, meaning that if they loses this round, they will have to save for round 23, and then full buy in round 24. And by now, Sprout has a 100% win rate on the CT side against G2's full buy, where Sprout has enough money for the rest of the game and just have to play perfect. And after losing to G2's pistol, Sprout understand they have to play better. Sprout starts the round by sending 2 players middle and then 2 towards B, while the 5th player will use this Monster smoke and then pick up a smoke in spawn that his teammate threw to him, so the B players can have 3 smokes. The B player does the default with a Molotov towards short pipe and then a nade towards the door to open it in connector, while the other B player goes to barrels to hold Monster, and then the last player who threw the Monster smoke goes to play ABC and jump spot towards short. The 2 A players of Sprout goes for an early Molotov, and then the A player, best spawn, peeks middle and here connects the op onto Nico, but fails his nade to try to finish off Nico. The other A player goes to top con to hold it, while the op is peeking middle. G2 on the other hand are back to their default with 1 B, 1 con and 3 towards middle, where they Molotov short to make sure Sprout can't push it, and then they use this flash to force away any Sprout players in middle, as well as Molotoving balloons to force any players close to fall off. Early on this round it looked like a default round, with G2 taking the map control they want early, and Sprout having all 5 players alive holding where they need to hold. Alele jump spots and here spots Hunter, and is able to open the round with 1 kill. And this is why you break the door. Since the door covers a lot of damage from the bullets, you take away that layer, and this wooden wall does not take away too much damage. G2 wants to take long, so they can have full control on how to take A. And here uses this flash and a run boost, and the timing is great. As soon as the flash pops, the run boost is done, but Slime is too fast and falls down.
Big from an Alele. What an opener. 5v4, Nico on low HP. This is not looking great for G2, and
Very fast after fall downs, he goes to toilet. Since as the Oper on Overpass, you do want to have impact, so going to toilet after losing long is crucial. And here he finds Huxi, who was not ready, and now G2 have lost all the map control they needed, with only Long and Monster left, not ideal. Nexa is able to find Rals, who has pushed too far into short, and plays here in this off angle. And Nexa uses this to fall off slowly to join his teammate. But here Sprout has gotten full con control and can hear Nexa falling off and rotating back.
And Nexa, I mean, he's making every step on his way to collect that bomb, so Spooky has an unbelievable timing just to shut him down. And with 20 seconds left, Nexa falls here. This round is done.
This will allow the con player to become a lurker right behind G2, and the B players can rotate. And Nexa is found while G2 tries to do some utility towards A, but Sprout spotted G2 advancing on long earlier, so here they are just using flashes and molotovs to keep G2 out, and G2 have to save.
yep,
And that's that.
it's over. Azul versus 4. Monacy and Nico trapped, and they know exactly where they are.
It's the last round, and to think this game was once a 11-1 scoreline is insane to even imagine. So how will G2 win this? Well, G2 are going for the default of one monster using this Molotov and then 3 players middle and 1 in con. That smokes off the Molotov so they can quickly go to playground. But Sprout are now on a new setup with 1 player middle using the default Molotov and then 4 players going B, where 1 will from spawn smoke monster, 1 will Molotov short pipe and blow up the door, and after the door is blown up, this forces the con player of G2 to smoke it, so he can walk up con if he wants. G2 takes long, and looking at the match now, I think it's over. G2 will run down the solo A player and win, just like that. But that's not the case. Now that G2 have both Nexa and Huxi, I think this is a call from Nexa, who is in Monster and would rather have the G2 players going B, because I think they both can still make some calls. And we can see G2 rotate down. Sprout resmokes Monster in the perfect moment, as soon as G2 gets 4 players in Monster, while G2 keeps 1 player long, just to be able to fake A if needed, or to become the lurker. We can see the player of Sprout guarding Monster has a Molotov in hand. This is done as soon as G2 flashes over, he can Molotov them off, since when going Monster there's a 99% chance that they will flash over from Monster. G2 uses this smoke in heaven, these flashes and Molotov to go for the B take. And here Spooky smokes Monster again, since the time is low, and then Molotovs the utility, and by spamming the smoke is able to find 2 kills. G2 used a flash that was just not deep enough to hit him in Monster, as you can see here, and that could have been a difference maker. While Slime has been able to move towards short after the Molotov, and here finds a 1-for-1 trade. And G2 are down to 2 players versus 4, and here they loses. It's 12 seconds, Sprout Molotovs Huxi off, who has the bomb and have no time to get to site. While Nico will try to get behind with 10 seconds left, it's impossible, and Sprout has done it. 11-1 scoreline on both CT sides. 22 CT round 1, 2 T rounds 1. And in the end, G2 won by being the only team this entire match who won 2 T rounds. That's all it took to win this.
As well, they've been fairly solid on the multi kills once again, all alone. Sprout are running that 3-man A bomb site setup, and the hit comes in. 25 seconds. Spooky's gonna deploy that Molotov. This could all go astray, and it's Spooky with the double. This is going to overtime. Surely G2 have fallen flat on their T side, and Slime gets another one. Huxi finally gets a refrag, and Nico's still towards the A bomb side, but this round is over. Look at the time.
Well, let's look over at the stats. As we saw in this match, Overpass is clearly CT-sided. But is it really? Well, I decided to look into this event and go over every single Overpass match to learn a thing or two if this map is really CT-sided. Let's look at the statistic. During this event, we had 4 other Overpass matches happening, and here on the screen are the teams and the score of these matches. But it's not too important. But these 4 matches gives us quite a lot of statistic that tells us the different story about if Overpass is CT-sided. Let's start with the round 1 on T and CT side. And remember, for all of these statistics, G2 versus Sprout match is not counted for here. And here we can see that the T side win most of the rounds, with 41 out of 73. Rounds won on Overpass has won by the T side. Something quite unexpected, since as we saw in the G2 versus Sprout match, it looked impossible to win a T round. So how is this the norm then? Well, HLTV has a lot of statistics, and here we can see the actual stats. And here remember, this is CS2 and CSGO, keep that in mind. And here we see something else, where their stats indicate that T versus CT win rate is the other way, with CT winning on average 53.4% of the rounds, while Ts are winning in the last 46.6% of the rounds. But by switching over to the last 3 months to mainly get CS2, something happens where the CT win rate will shrink to a closer 50-50 with 53.2, and the T win rate will rise by 0.2 with 46.8. It's only a 0.2% change, not a lot, but this tells me that Overpass is much more divided map than this match indicated. So now we have seen some general stats, but what about the player stats? In total there were 30 different players who either played Overpass once or twice this event. And here are the stats. The average T-side HLTV 2.0 stats are 1 on the mark, while the CT average rating are 105. So with CT having the higher ratings and all, how in this event did the T win more rounds? Well, let's talk about rating and why they are not everything. On CT side you will be rewarded for saving and always having an easier way of knowing when to save, while the T side is punished for saving by not getting any money next round, and is rewarded for trying to get kills and more. So this will make the stats be different. And here is the formula HLTV uses for the HLTV 2.0 rating, and it looks like this. And as we can see, KPR and DPR, or kills per round and deaths per round, are the biggest factor to calculate the rating. What more do we need to look at? Well, the map itself. Overpass is one of 2 maps that has the bomb site above each other, and on the same part of the map, making the rotations for the CT side much easier, since you can move faster from site to site, something all other maps will not allow you to do. But Overpass has another advantage for the CT side, and that is that the A site and CT spawn is located the same spot, meaning dropped utility guns is easier done to set up a player and holds. And this is most likely why Overpass is a little bit more CT-sided, since the CT side has all of these amazing IDs when spawning in on A site. So how have Valve made sure this will not be too overpowered? Well, by giving the T side more advantages as well. Like A side has 3 spots to worry about and execute with toilet, long and banana, as well as the T side has an easier way of winning the 3 crucial parts of the map. But stop, what are the 3 crucial parts of the map? Well, Overpass can be divided into 3 spots, and that is connector, toilet and water. These are the 3 main parts of the map you want to win each round, to be able to win Overpass. But why? Well, connector controls fast rotations from A to B if you're middle, and on Overpass middle is crucial, while water allows the Ts to set up, execute and push B from 2 spots. And toilet control allows you to fight for long control, set up, execute and get 2 spots to push from site to. And this is why these are the main parts of Overpass. So how do we win control of them? Let's start with water. Usually the Ts will take water with a flash like this and a Molotov here to make sure the CTs can't push, and then have a smoke ready to smoke off short Molotov. While the CT will meet this setup with a boost here, a smoke here, a Molotov here and then maybe a flash like this if you want to get down to short. So short control is all about early utility and fights. Connector is more tricky. This is usually where the Ts will have a lurker and a player just chilling here until he is needed somewhere else. The goal for the T player is to hold off rotations to help out the middle or short with utility like this, or just straight up fighting, while the CT is taking it usually only uses this to make sure Ts can't use it for any place, and to allow them a fast rotation to middle or to B if needed. And then the last spot is toilet, and here the CTs usually starts by holding it with a smoke like this and then a rifle or up over the smoke to try to take control of middle, as well as using a Molotov here to block the Ts out of mid right away, get early information, and after will fall back to toilet. While the Ts will use a bunch of flashes and nades to combat this play from the CT side, and uses their con pressure to take toilet and forces CTs back to site. And toilet control dictates how to take A site and why it's so important. So to end the video, is Overpass CT-sided? Well, the statistics we have looked at is not any indication of this. As well as the match we broke down, we can clearly see there were massive mistakes for both teams on the T side. So no, Overpass is not CT-sided map, but if you only look at this match, it might look like this. This is the longest video I've ever made, and I hope you all enjoyed it. This took me 7 days to make, and hopefully it was worth it. I will do some more deep dives, and on the screen right now I will show you the videos I'm planning next. And wanted to ask you guys in the comments to maybe tell me if there are any good matches or storylines or anything else I can make. And if you didn't see my community post, I will stop doing 3 videos a week and only do like 1 big one every week. I will try at least. So now you know about it and maybe why I haven't uploaded my 2 other videos for this week. Thank you all for watching, and there are 2 videos YouTube told me you would like. Bye.